While everyone's focused on coastal California, something big is happening inland, and almost nobody's paying attention. While people fight over Malibu, San Francisco, and downtown LA, the hottest real estate market in California right now is the places you probably drive through on your way somewhere else. Let's talk about why inland California is becoming the state's new hot zone, and why smart money is already moving. Start with the number that changed everything. The median home price across California just hit $905,000, according to the California Association of Realtors 2026 forecast. That's a new record. In the Inland Empire, the median is around $580,000, more than $300,000 less than the state median. And yeah, $300,000 is still a lot, but compare that to this. In Sacramento, median prices are $480,000 to $525,000. In the Central Valley, you can still find homes under $400,000. That's not just cheaper, that's a completely different market. When the California Association of Realtors calculated housing affordability, only 18% of California households could afford the median-priced home at the end of 2025. That means 82% are locked out. Inland, affordability jumps to around 30% in markets like Sacramento and Fresno. Same state, totally different reality. This isn't just about cheap houses. It's about math that actually works for regular people. Lower prices explain part of it, but they don't explain the surge in demand. There's something else driving this shift, and it's happening right under our noses. Picture this: a family of 4 from Orange County. They've been renting for 8 years because buying felt impossible. Their monthly rent is $3,800. They run the numbers on a $580,000 home in the Inland Empire, same square footage, same bedrooms, and suddenly their monthly payment is roughly the same. But now they're building equity instead of feeding their landlord's mortgage. This is becoming the norm. Recent data shows California is seeing a steady shift from expensive coastal cities into more affordable inland markets. The 2026 housing market is being defined not by out-of-state migration, but by in-state buyers moving from LA, San Diego, and the Bay Area to places like the Inland Empire, Sacramento, and the Central Valley. Redfin data shows something telling. Buyers working with a $3,000 monthly budget can now afford roughly $25,000 more home than they could just a year ago in inland markets. That's not a huge jump, but it's real momentum. In places like Redlands, Yucaipa, Highland, and Beaumont, the mid-$500,000 to mid-$700,000 range is extremely active. You can see it in the data. Cities like Sacramento, Roseville, Elk Grove, and Modesto are no longer secondary options. They've become prime destinations for buyers seeking value, space, and long-term opportunity. And this shift isn't just about housing. It's tied to where jobs are going. If inland California is so great, why isn't everyone talking about it? Yes, the Inland Empire did lose about 26,000 warehouse and transportation jobs in 2025 alone. Unemployment ticked up to 4.9%, above the state average. Trade, transportation, and utilities lost 1,400 jobs in just 1 month, from March to April 2025. But logistics isn't the whole story anymore. The Inland Empire now has logistics as the leading sector with 20% of total wage and salary employment, meaning every 5th job in San Bernardino County is in logistics. Healthcare follows at 17%, government at 15%. The economy is diversifying, even if the headlines focus on the losses. Meanwhile, the Central Valley remains California's most affordable mega region, with rapidly growing job markets. And Sacramento is establishing itself as a tech and government hub that's actually attracting companies looking for lower operating costs. It's not a lack of jobs, it's a shift in what kinds of jobs are growing. And the affordability is still there, even as the economy evolves. Now, there's a trade-off here. If you're thinking about making the move, you need to know what you're getting into. You can have affordability and space inland, or you can have proximity and beaches on the coast. You generally can't have both. The Inland Empire median home price of $580,000 is 51.6% above the national median. Sounds good compared to California's $905,000, right? But it's still way above what's normal for the rest of the country. And yes, you're getting a bigger house for your money, but you're also getting something else: heat. Extreme heat in inland California is getting worse. Temperatures are expected to increase by 8 to 14 degrees Fahrenheit by 2100. Communities like Lancaster, Palmdale, and Fresno are already experiencing more dangerous heat waves as climate change drives these trends. Coastal California stays moderate thanks to ocean breezes. Sacramento summers are hot, but not quite as brutal as the desert inland. You're paying less, getting more space, but you're trading the coastal lifestyle. For a lot of people, that's a no-brainer. For others, it's a deal-breaker. And yet, inventory is finally changing in a way that could make 2026 a turning point. Inventory has been tight, but that's starting to change. Realtor.com data confirms that inventory has grown significantly in the Inland Empire, and in many local cities, we're approaching availability levels we haven't seen in over 5 years. After several years of high mortgage rates and cautious buyers, something is shifting. Sellers are resurfacing. Buyers are quietly stepping back in. In December 2025, the median listing price in the Riverside area reached $587,515, up 1.59% year over year. Home prices are showing stability after years of volatility. The California Association of Realtors forecasts active listings up nearly 10% in 2026, a slow but real thaw in a market held frozen by the rate lock-in effect. The Mortgage Bankers Association reports that purchase applications are up from last year, a clear sign of renewed buyer interest. Total home sales in the Inland Empire rose 1.7% year over year in March 2026, outperforming the national increase of 0.5%. For the past 2 years, the inland market was stuck. Buyers couldn't afford to move, sellers couldn't afford to list their homes and buy something else. Now, that's starting to untangle. Mortgage rates are still hovering in the low sixes, around 6.1% to 6.5% for a 30-year fixed. That's better than the peak of 7% plus, but still historically high. The California Association of Realtors expects rates to ease to around 6.0% in 2026, but we're not there yet. Southern California home prices declined 1% to 3% across major metros in 2025, but are forecast to rise 1% to 2% in 2026. The Inland Empire's median home price actually fell $14,500 year over year in March to $580,000, ranking last among the top 40 U.S. markets for annual price change. That's not a crash. That's a market correcting and finding its footing. The 2026 forecast suggests steady, not spectacular price appreciation. Expect prices to stay relatively flat with maybe 2% to 3% growth, about the same as overall consumer price inflation. So the question is, do you wait for rates to drop more and potentially face higher prices, or do you move now while inventory is improving and prices are stabilizing? The real opportunity for buyers in 2026 is in the Central Valley and Inland Empire. These markets offer the best combination of affordability, improving inventory, and future potential. Think about this. You're 35. You work in tech, healthcare, or education. You've saved what you can, but LA or San Francisco is out of the question. You're looking at Inland California, maybe Sacramento, maybe Riverside, maybe Fresno. You buy a $525,000 home in Sacramento today. 10 years from now, even with modest 3% annual appreciation, that home is worth around $705,000. You've built nearly $180,000 in equity. Meanwhile, your peers who stayed renting in coastal cities are still paying $4,000 plus a month with zero equity to show for it. Sacramento and California's inland cities are no longer hidden gems. They're the new growth frontier of the state's residential market. For buyers priced out of the coast or seeking a better quality of life, These regions offer the ideal combination of affordability, stability, and future potential. The California Association of Realtors forecasts 274,400 existing single-family home sales in 2026, up 2% from 2025. Home sales are expected to increase, inventory is improving, and mortgage rates are expected to ease. The market is moving again. Inland California prices are climbing 6% to 8% annually in some areas, while rents in Fresno and Bakersfield rise 3% to 5% yearly. That's not explosive growth, but it's steady, and steady wins the long game. While everyone's fighting over the same coastal properties, smart money is quietly moving inland, not because it's perfect, but because it's one of the few places where the numbers still make sense for regular people. The question is, are you going to watch this play out from the sidelines, or are you going to pay attention before it's too late? All right, here's my question for you. If you were buying a home in California right now, would you stretch for the coast or go inland for value? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one.